Hello. I'm going to title today's talk A Firestorm in Florida. And I'll begin with my tut message of the day from Mike Dooley. It says, in time and space, Ron, if you just look for what's right in others, in relationships, in yourself and your journey, you'll always find it. Same when you're looking for what's wrong. I really try in my life, and try means to fail, to take the high road as much as I possibly can. Nevertheless, it has been part of my philosophy to tell the truth, which includes what may appear positive and what may appear negative. And I dealt with this subject yesterday in a calm and peaceful manner, which I hope I'm able to do again today. Although passions were being expressed yesterday by me and others in the Republic, as more information was being revealed about the planned event for this coming Sunday, May Day, which I thought was an attempt initially to reach an agreement over some of the controversy that's been going on in Florida in the Republic movement. And as those of you that listen regularly realize, I was elected by the grand jury as Secretary of State. At the governor's request for me to run. And ever since that election, there has been a controversy raging over who controls the paperwork and who controls the state. The ambassador, from my perspective and the perspective of some others, has taken to herself dictatorial powers and aligned herself with others in the Republic who also like this idea of being able to tell others what to do and making demands and threats, which does not sit well with many of us. There were even 2 eyewitness reports that in seating one of the grand juries in one of the counties, I'm not sure which one it was, the ambassador shows up with armed bodyguards. I had 2 separate individuals tell me that were there. One of whom I believe was on the, or is on the grand jury. I'm not 100% sure of that was that grand jury that they're on, but they are on the grand jury. This one person that told me is one of the grand jury, county grand jury people. In any case, because of doing these daily broadcasts, I'm privy to information sometimes that others may not be privy to. And so I have to make a decision. What do I focus my attention on? Well, yesterday, in phone calls and emails going around, people asking for their paperwork to be returned to them, they are fed up with the whole thing. I am quite honestly fed up with all that's going on. And part of it is this. What I thought was a meeting, which I declined coming because it was on a Sunday, and Sundays are just almost impossible for me. I'm on the New Way board, and we have our board meetings on the first Sunday of every month. And it was initially, the meeting was initially supposed to be on a Saturday, and then they changed it to the Sunday. And I finally made the decision that I could not be there on a Sunday. I had to set my priorities, and I notified everyone in writing that I would not attend to any Republic business on Sundays, period. And that was not a religious thing. It was just prioritizing my own life. Even the de facto government, most of the time, does not hold official meetings on Sunday. I mean, it's just the way it is. But here in the Republic, these people wanted to have the meeting on a Sunday. And again, I thought the meeting's purpose was to reach reconciliation. From the governor's, listening to the governor, who has become a close friend of mine, his attitude was, we're going to reconcile this. We're going to work through this. We're going to reconcile it. Then it was revealed to me that the real purpose of the meeting was to begin impeachment proceedings against the governor, against the proctor of the state, who is also the Chief Justice of our Supreme Court in the Republic. And some have said that I'm also to be excommunicated, well, and impeached. It's the wrong word. It might just well be an excommunication. And others said, no, you're not going to be involved because there's too many people that listen to you. And I feel anger, and at the same time I could cry with sadness, because I'm seeing this dream that I thought was a solution for humanity. I'm seeing it being rendered asunder by people who just don't have the maturity to know how to cooperate and know how to speak nicely to each other and know how to even attempt to reach reconciliation. All they do is attack, attack, attack. And I'm saying they. And I'm conscious of the fact that I'm saying they. And I'm conscious of the fact that when I say they are always a part of me, because we are one. And I know that spiritually, although a lot of people that are religious don't know that spiritually. I've seen some beautiful expressions of concern and of wisdom in the email firestorm that was going on here yesterday. There was pretty much silence, for the most part, from the faction that wants to be in control of everything and wants to get rid of people that don't toe their line and march to the beat of their drum. From my perspective, they are not seeking a high road at all. And they have not been from the beginning, from the very first phone call that I had after becoming Secretary of State, in which demands were made with threats following from the ambassador. This role of ambassador, which is supposed to be to protect the people according to their definition, actually undermines the entire process. As I look at it, as I pray about it, as I talk to people about it, it's actually undermining the entire free sovereign movement to establish sovereign states. There is no sovereignty, there's only demands. There's no respect of persons. If you don't do what we say, we're going to get rid of you. We're going to attack you. And a lot of it is done subtly, and I'm bringing it out into the open, and it's a conscious choice to do this. Because people need to know what's going on. I don't believe it's only going on in Florida. This lady from Nebraska who wrote the document that the ambassadors are using as their authority, even though she was only giving her opinion, has created tremendous, tremendous controversy in at least, for sure, Florida and at least other states that I know of. And it threatens to destroy the entire movement, which I thought, again, was a solution. I'm so sorry to be the reporter of this bad news. But is it bad news? Ron, look for the good in it. The good in it is holding up a mirror for every one of us to look and to see the firestorm that rages within each of us. As our shadow elements come to the surface, as our underworlds are opened, and we get a look at the human nature of separation, the human nature born of fear. We get to look at it. What are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with it? I'd like to idealistically think that those that want control are going to see the light, wake up, and come from a more loving place. Ultimately, I believe that they are. Whether it's the Illuminati or these people in Florida or whatever group of people thinks that they have to control everybody else. Ultimately, I do believe that that's going to happen. I thought the Republic was a mechanism that would allow it to happen. Obviously, the same issues, the same human drama is playing out here as well. And knowing that the divine works everything after the counsel of his, her own will, I know that it's all going to come out okay. Meanwhile, there are frustrating things that I must face and that each of us as humans must face. Because this ninth wave of awakening to unity consciousness is going to have its bumps in the road. Has to. Because we're stubborn. I send you love, and I thank you for listening to this difficult information. And to those of you that want to control me and the governor and others, for those of you that want to control others in your life, period, please recognize what you're doing and the spirit that you're coming from. Jesus had the same problem with his disciples in the Bible. It's recorded. You don't know what spirit you are of. Consider that, each of you in your life. What spirit are you coming from? Is it the spirit of fear or the spirit of love? I embrace you, no matter which side you're coming from. I embrace you because that's what love does. Namaste. Namaste.